Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of the Genshin Impact podcast. Today we have with us DeMonty Gaming as a new arrival.
Hello.
We got Gale.
Hello everybody, what's up? Sorry for being late.
JizX is a returning guest again.
Hey you guys, what's up?
Nastarachi, if his network holds out.
I'm here. Just my internet is jacked right now, y'all. It's like jacked beyond all recognition.
And our savior right now, Mr. Hydros. Although I think he's just kind of holding it live in the background for us.
I'm here. If you guys need me to talk, I'll talk.
All right, cool. All right, so we got a few topics to go through today. Obviously, one of the biggest things is that 1.1 has officially dropped. We've got to see everything confirmed and how the final versions of that. So we're going to be going through our takes on the story, how we think about the general systems that have been released. We got the new Unreconciled of Stars event that's just begun today. I've just gotten into that. I don't know if y'all have completed it or not. I forgot to prod y'all before we went live, but we got a new event that you get to go through, and then we got some leaks now all ready for 1.2, and Gale's currently getting to experience that, so he's got to be a little quiet there, but JizX and I and a few others can bounce around some ideas on what's coming and what we have pretty much confirmed, all but, But anyways, let's go ahead and hop into it. Juz, how was your experience so far with the story in 1.1?
So far I actually enjoyed the story. The cutscenes were really great. The boss fight was even more better, than what we so far had, compared to other boss fights in the game. And I think they done really, really good job. I mean, the story is not that long. I mean, I did not expect that it would be longer than a couple hours, at maximum. But it's not bad. I mean, the story itself is really good. Cutscenes are really good, and I'm hyped for the next part.
Yeah, I personally, I guess we can kind of get into spoilers a little bit, but I was hoping we would. I don't want to say exactly what happens, but I wish we got a little bit more out of the castle. Or we're staying away from.
Well, you can still talk about it, but just be somewhat vague. So,
okay, well. I'm not trying to get you guys let down before you experience it. I was really excited to see this floating castle. I didn't get what I wanted out of that castle, and I have to stop there because of spoilers. That's the only thing. Everything else, the cinematics of this story were just fantastic. I felt like I spent more time watching cinematics than I did playing.
Well, to be fair, it's not the proper castle we've been seeing all this time off in the distance in the northeast or wherever it is, to be honest. But it for what was the Jade Palace, I mean, yeah, I will agree. I was hoping to experience it more, I guess. I'm not gonna say anything.
I wish it had more
that.
purpose.
Yeah, I wish I could take it in more, I suppose is the best way to put it.
I mean, there's actually one thing probably most of us missed, when we were doing the story. If you talk with all the NPCs in there, I think the three, the girls in there, if I'm not mistaken, you can get some golden talent books from them. So if you're not done your story yet, so go ahead and talk with them. You're gonna get some golden talent books, because I only learned that after I actually completed it, so I missed that opportunity.
Well, you see, I didn't even know I missed out, but now I do.
Yeah.
What about you, DeMonty? Have you completed it yet?
I completed it. I don't want, like you said, no spoilers. I thought the cinematics were really, really, actually a lot more than I was actually expecting. And the fight scenes were actually memorable. So I thought they're pretty good, man.
I mean, I think it's pretty safe that we could talk about, the Golden House and the child boss fight, seeing as how that was teased all over social media. Weeks before leading into the update, we knew what he would look like. We knew he'd be water and lightning. And all that, honestly, was really cool. The structure of the boss fight, the way that he progresses through different phases, where not only does he cosmetically transform, but, he gains those differences in his ability set. All that type of stuff is really cool. One of the things that I wanted to see most out of the game, which ultimately spills over into co-op mode, but at least right now we're getting the foundations, are those multi-stage type bosses. Some of the most fun I had in RPG games, especially online ones, would go back to MMOs where you're doing raids and you have a team of even 5, 10, 60 people, and you're fighting, some epic boss and they go through different phases and you have to, adapt different strategies and tactics to get through it. That's one of the most appealing things about a game like this. Because, otherwise you're just grinding all the time. So the payoff for the grind all the time is to have challenging and cool events that have really cool designs to them, different phases, different things you have to do. So ultimately, besides like the Spiral Abyss, boss fights like this and events, or I guess you could call them the Trounce domains, those are going to be, some of the most highlighted content for you to be doing, your high level runs. So it's good. They add new stuff like that that's diverse.
Yeah, I'll also like to add on to that one thing that we mentioned it in the previous podcast when we were just getting in leaks and everything. We had learned at the start that the 1.1 testers and some of the other people were saying that it was probably going to be single player only, like Devalin. But the fact that it's co-op is massive in my opinion, because I think the biggest thing for this game now, especially with how it is, like with the duration between updates and whatnot, the main aim you want to have is to play with other people. I think that's what's going to drive the game, at least for during these long intervals between one update to the other. So them making the child boss fight co-op as well is very, very nice and really appreciated, because it allows me and anybody else to play with anybody effectively. So always a plus to have more co-op stuff in the game.
Yeah, I actually did not know that the child boss fight was co-op. I've done it twice solo. I didn't know it was co-op until this actual conversation took place.
But you're in a position to speak on co-op potentially more than any of us, because you have been grinding out domains and bosses in co-op like nonstop for the past like 2.5 weeks. And you could even provide some insight on that, because it really appears to me that the drop rates, or at least the frequency of higher rarity items dropping, is much higher when you're playing in co-op.
I would say possibly. Once you hit world rank 45, it seems like all the domains and everything are guaranteed a yellow at that point. So every single run at 45, you're gonna get a yellow piece, 100%. So it seems like the co-op, like those higher rates, don't really matter anymore at that sense.
That is good to know as well.
I wish, I know this is retrospect, but I'm really enjoying the child fight and replaying it. I really wish I could do that for the wolf fight. Just keep fighting the wolf. That's probably one of my favorite things. When me and some friends are trying to get the child fight down quicker, right? It'd be fun if all the fights were like that.
Well, even if you can only accept the blossom like once a week, if you could at least still just keep fighting it, at least,
Yeah, you can still help friends, but you can't summon it anymore yourself.
Yeah, I wish you could just keep pulling the sword. Treat it like a normal world boss if you need the sword to respawn or whatever, right? But I would like to keep refighting the wolf boss, maybe get some intricacies down and see how fast you can clear it.
Yeah, I really didn't think that, now after being a higher world rank, that it's kind of unnecessary for that to be capped at a week's time. You kind of need all those materials. You need so much of it for just one character that...
Yeah. Especially the talent materials. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's one of my concerns, especially, I'm kind of progressing even forward with it, but even with the event talent, we get this special crown talent material. It's like a crown in the event shop. If you're only going to get one of those every week and we need 3 per character, it's going to be a while before you reach max talent on any character. So I definitely agree, especially when it comes to the weekly bosses, they need to make them maybe at least twice a week. If not, just let it be unlimited. Let people spend the resin how they want to. We're already limited on resin. I will say the condensed resin and the 160 resin is a huge improvement. It didn't feel like it at the start when we were talking about it, but now I'm using it, it's a much better improvement. We'll get to that in a bit. But with how resin is anyways, let people use resin how they want to. I'd rather they don't lock people behind once a week events.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think that my biggest complaint right now is, I'm trying to max out my Venti, but I have yet to get his talent material even drop for him. So that's the only frustrating part for me. I wish it was like a universal material, or kind of like that crown is, where it's just going to work on every character. But I guess
Is that what the crown?
Yeah, the crown I believe is for talents above level 10.
That's for the max talent level. You need like 3 for each character, so like 1 for each talent, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna hit that at the very end. But I believe that's talent level 10.
Yep.
It's probably not to world rank 50, right?
No. This is the crown is only if you get. Oh no, if you're unlocking it via like levels, yes. It's only once you reach AR 50 and unlock the last ascension rank, you can unlock the talent level for that.
We'll get into the crown here in a bit, but it's an upgrade material dropped from the new event, and you only get 1 of it right now.
Yep.
Speaking of, I guess we can go ahead and go into the next portion. Is about the new units. Did any of y'all pull for the new units? And now I got to play with them all on the 5.9 account, but then y'all actually got them on your personal accounts, and I'll just kind of leave that one open.
Yeah, I did pull for them, but I did not succeed in pulling any of them because I was, aiming just to pull Dion, and I stuck on 85 pity and I stopped because I'm saving for probably for Zhongli. We'll see. I'm not sure. Maybe we're gonna get some more information about new characters in 1.2, but I was not lucky, so I'm skipping this part, leaving up to you guys if you actually try them.
Yeah, I did 10 multis on it, so I went a little ham. I managed to get, I think, 4 or 5 copies. Is it Diona or Dion?
It's Diona.
Diona. I got like 4 or 5 copies of her, but at the same time, in like my pity multi was Chi-Chi, and so I was like, well, crap. Now do I still use Diona? Now do I use Chi-Chi? I don't know what to do. So I picked Chi-Chi. So I actually didn't even play with the Diona that I was summoning for, which is kind of crazy.
I haven't got a copy of her yet, and I hope it's a yet and not a just not getting her kind of deal. But I just need 1 copy, and I'm gonna wait for Klee's return banner.
Yeah, I personally haven't tried her. Well, no, I have tried her, the test run technically, but it's not a it's not a great example of it. She's good. I think she's all right. She is what her label says she is, which is basically if you don't have Chi-Chi, use her kind of thing. She's good in that sense, but yeah, and of course me and Prof and I, sorry, I should say, Prof and I tested out Child, and we spoke about builds and stuff. I think my experience from him and his side story, and then the test run. Obviously, his side story kit was way better. He's really solid. He is a lot better than I originally gave him credit for. I initially said if you summon for him, it's you're going for the character more than the unit itself. But the unit itself is actually really solid. And when they do add, when they do add that hydro damage set, he's gonna be really good. He's gonna be really, really good.
Yeah, that was our main issue with Child, is that he didn't have a good source of DPS, so he was a weird character to fit into any type of team builds. If he finally gets ways to make that missing DPS, it'll definitely up his value considerably.
So, the word I'm getting in the community right now is that if you're successfully C6 him, he's the highest DPS in the game. Am I hearing wrong?
Well, you know what? The C6ing 5-star units, that's territory for whales only.
I mean, we consistently do it here on the 5.9 channel.
One of us does.
One person, yeah, not us.
Bro,
None of us in here are that person, unfortunately.
Even with every other pity being guaranteed, it's like a minimum of $1,800 up to a maximum of $4,500 to get.
And we got Klee, we got Venti, now we got Child.
Oh, that's total humble bragging right now.
Yeah, total shout outs to Nolar from Flipside in chat. But yeah, no, I think Child has been super fun when I was grinding on the 5.9 account. I was having a blast with him, but no, there's just something fun about being a small little cat archer. She's got a little calico cat pattern or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm in love with that character. I need to get her on my main account.
Also, I will say one thing. This is off topic. I've been testing some of the units, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Prof, because I know you test these units a lot more than I do. But one problem I've been encountering with bow units whenever I'm trying to do their normal consecutive shot, when you do the third to fourth shot, it's really disjointed for a lot of units. The only unit that I think does it smoothly is Fischl. I don't know if you've noticed it, but it's really, really the jump between the third to fourth shot just feels like it's not the same chain at all.
Really?
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed, and I didn't see it for Child. I might have to go back and test him as well as Diona. I have not tested out for those two, but I noticed it with Amber and Venti, whereas Fischl was just buttery smooth in terms of going like one smooth chain.
Now that I think about it, the only bow user I use is Fischl, so I've never really noticed that.
Yeah, it's just something that I looked into today because I was like, oh, I want to see how I want to see the other two because Amber I don't use apart from being a lighter, and Venti I use his E and Q more than his normal shots. So I wanted to just see what the difference was in like their movements and like if there was anything different between their combos.
Well, for myself, archers really feel kind of. I don't want to say like lacking in the game, but the basic attacks kind of feel like kind of sluggish. As you said yourself, the third and fourth attack feels kind of out of place. I mean, the aiming itself is kind of as well. It tends like to miss the shots, or it just feels like that. And I think the archers actually need improvement in the game, at least for the basic attacks.
I think they need to take a page from the console FPS games and not because right now the archery system is awesome in my opinion for what it can be, but I know what you're talking about where it feels like your critical shots are hitting the vital spots constantly miss. So I think they in a lot of like console FPS games your cursor kind of slows down when you kind of pass over the key spots of shooting your enemy, and they could make the little hitbox for the arrows maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know. To make it feel like you're a better archer than you are. But yeah, I think I mostly play archers in this game right now. Venti's been my main carry. And I gotta say, I feel like he feels way smoother than every other character in the game. And I've played Venti, D-Luke, and all of them. I feel like I'm just kind of skating around as an archer constantly. And it lets me zone myself better so I can dodge pretty much all the hits too.
I think movement wise they're really good. It's just their basic attack combo is what I was coming to more so.
And I mean the archers as well. I mean itself the targeting system is kind of a bit sluggish as well, I would say, because not only for archers, catalysts as well, because you can't really properly target the target you want, because let's say you have to move like in the closer to the target you want to prioritize. But if let's say you have like two enemies and you want to let's say kill the other enemy first instead of that enemy which is closer to you, you're gonna target the first one instead. You cannot like manually choose which one you want to target.
Actually, in agreement with you, I had a lot of problems trying to use Barbara against the Pyro Regisvine because to stun it, you either are attacking the orb at the base of the plant and then it rotates to the orb that's in the stem of the flower.
Yeah.
So when you're attacking the one on the ground, everything's all well and good. But Barbara, she can't manually target like that eyeball one. So the only time you can hit it is when it slams its head into the ground and it's on ground level with her. I find that to be a very curious thing that goes hand in hand with what you just said, Juzek.
Yeah, I mean, like one of my friends as well was playing Abyss, and there's like two enemies, let's say, and one enemy has like certain debuff. You want to kill this enemy first, but the other enemy gets in your way all the time, and you cannot like prioritize the other enemy because the targeting automatically goes to which enemy is closest to you. So it's kind of you would be able to switch either like select the target you want to like focus
right. They borrowed so much from Breath of the Wild or Zelda. The one thing they forgot is the lock-on system for targeting.
Yeah.
I have to play around that lock-on constantly. Well, like I said, I play a lot of Venti, and his ultimate is a projectile, right? And if there's someone like directly behind me or something, he'll just fire it the wrong direction, and I won't gather anybody. So I'm constantly, skating the outside, expecting it to lock on to someone, right?
Yeah, the lack of targeting on ults like that definitely causes problems. It's not just Venti either. It's the same for Diluc.
Dude, you fight one of those crazy chicks that shoot out all the bugs. She'll turn around completely and like aim at the one bug instead of like the giant crowd.
Well, there needs to be priority. Like, it needs to know, okay, this unit's in front of you. Clearly, you don't care about the bug. Hit the main unit. But
Yeah.
I think maybe if you could hold down the ultimate button and then manually pick the direction at that point.
Yeah, that's almost like Smite or League of Legends, like skill.
Yeah, where you could just basically, you have like, a line where you want to focus, like you have like projection,
Yeah, almost for anyone in the crowd, if you've ever, and I'm sure most of you have seen or heard of League of Legends, it's like the manual targeting in like a MOBA or something like that, where you hold the ability button down, it'll bring up like a shadow cursor on screen as to where you want to aim it, then you let go, and boom, it'll fire it off exactly where you aim it. So that would be much better if they incorporated that, and then like a lock on for when you're like going in melee or something on a target with like weak attacks.
Yeah, that's only why I prefer melee characters at the moment, because as I said, archers and catalysts, that lack of lock-on system kind of bothers me. Just for me, I mean, a lot of you guys probably just play around it like Professor said, but for me, I prefer melee just because of that right now.
No, that's definitely an issue that I've noticed as well. Like, you can play around it, but it would be one of the MiHoYo is known for doing quality of life stuff to improve their experience, and that would be like definitely a focus area. Like,
we're still the second month,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the game sucks because of it. It's just something that they could definitely prioritize working on to make combat a lot more enjoyable. I mean, it's only going to get worse in multiplayer. Like, if they design crazy multiplayer events and nobody can pick their targets properly, then it's just
imagine if we get like a 4v like 100 stage and something like that, or like one of those crazy like battle royale or free for all, not battle royale per se, but free for all like stages where you and 3 others go in and fight like 150 enemies at the same time. It's gonna be a bit crazy with how the targeting system is right now, especially if you're an archer or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's I guess we go a little bit off topic. We were talking about the units. How do you like the current changes in the game? I guess we'll start off with Gale. I just want to throw in a comment real quick. I needed this Geoculus finder, and it's everything I hoped it was.
I mean, as I said earlier on, we come back to this topic every week. This is your weekly information about resin. How's everybody doing? No, but as I mentioned earlier on, I think the condensed resin is probably the best addition I've seen in my entire life on any gacha. And well, that's a bit of a lie, but it's one of the better additions I've seen in any gacha game. I think it's initially I mentioned last week, like saying I don't know how much of a usefulness it'll have. Mm-hmm. But having been busy over the last week and, with university stuff personally and whatnot, being able to condense the resin every morning and then come back in the evening to do double runs quickly or something like that, and then condense resin again in the evening, it's been effectively revolutionary. It feels like I'm saving up resin while also letting resin stock back up quite easily. I think it's probably my favorite edition. Like, I even more so than the Pocket Waypoint, the Resonance Finder, and stuff like that. I've been really finding it very useful.
I would have to agree 100%. Like, it actually allows you to, like, 160 is the new cap, but theoretically, it really gives you another 120 to hold on to. So your new cap is literally 280 at this point. And then on top of that, the condensed resin allows you to get double rewards on your 20 resin events and missions and stuff like that. So you can effectively grind things twice as fast. Like if you're like, oh, let me just refresh my resin. I go back to town, get 3 more condensed resin, and just have to run it 3 times instead of 6. Like, it makes grinding way less tedious too. So
it's basically like they added the boost feature from Dokkan into this effectively.
Exactly.
With the condensed resin.
Yes, double drop rates, double everything. It's great, man. And double XP too, world rank XP.
Yep. No, I think it's definitely one of the better additions. I do think there's a lot of other good additions. Like as I said, the Pocket Waypoint was one of the biggest things I wanted, but definitely the condensed resin for how much we slandered it initially last week, saying, "Oh, it's not gonna make any difference," or it's just a nice way for people who don't have time to do anything else, or have to just condense resin in the morning and then use it in the evening or something. It's actually a lot better than what I initially thought it was.
Yeah, the ability for you to double stack your drops and basically essentially use it twice, resin, is pretty phenomenal for shaving time off of your grind process. And my personal favorite thing they added, just for me, out of sheer annoyance, those Anemoculus and Geoculus compasses were like immediately useful. Like those things, boom, and within 15 minutes, I had all of the rest of the ones that I was missing. And that's mainly because I didn't really feel like going back and looking at the interactive map and cross-referencing every single spot with the ones that I'd already gotten. So I waited. And upon waiting, it was just instantly less annoying. So that was really nice too.
Yeah, I'll add on the condenser resin. I mean, condenser resin is like a really nice feature. I enjoy it as well a lot. But if you think about that, it's kind of bad for hardcore players who actually wanted to have like more game played time, per day, because now you're just gonna run like 3 times instead of 6. I know it's like convenient feature, you're gonna save your time, but there's like a lot of players who were complaining that they want, to play game more per day, not like just 10-20 minutes, and then log out. People were like, say I want to play like 2-3 hours, and they can, the grind stuff.
But the thing is, they can easily, like, to counter your point, just don't use it.
Yeah, I mean that's true as well.
I mean, you just don't use it. Again, you kind of have to find a balance, especially when you're playing a gacha game, because we have to remember this is at the end of the day a gacha game. It's available on mobile and it's available on PC. Now, I agree, the hardcore players who play it on PC want
this
a
is
proper
like
PC experience. But those who are playing it on mobile, you have to remember it's a mobile game. It's something that you pick up and play for like 30 minutes to an hour a day, and then you probably hop off and go do your actual IRL stuff or play another game or do something else. Mobile games.
This feature is like
you kind of have to find a balance. I see where you're coming from in terms of the hardcore players, wanting more rather than what we got, but I also think right now for what it is, for people who are busy, who play a lot of other games or who have actual jobs or, go to university and don't have the time to necessarily play the game the whole day, they can condense their resin, come in the evening, use it up, condense it again in the morning or in the evening. Same process again all over.
Yeah. I mean, for casuals, this is like very, very good feature. As I said, it has like pluses and it has minuses. Just depending on the player base. For casuals, it's totally like one of the best feature you could ever get in the game, because you're not gonna lose out on the resins. Like let's say before you had 120 cap, and you're gonna lose out if you're not gonna log in at least 2 times in 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's the really good feature. Then all the composites and everything as well gonna be useful, at least for me. I did not need them yet because I had everything collected before. So I think for the next region, whenever we're gonna get it, it's gonna be useful, because we're supposed to get one for Inazuma as well. It's gonna be really nice to find all of them, because we won't have that interactive map. And I haven't yet unlocked, the other quality of life features, because you need quite high reputation system to get all of them.
Yep.
That's like level 6, 7, I think.
So we're talking about new features in the game, right now?
Yes.
What do you guys think about the weekly bounties and the weekly quests that they added?
Okay, so that was one of the topics that we were going to cover as well. I think it is nice. I actually like the bounties, to be honest, because it incentivizes you for using the elemental site part of it, which is good. Plus, it's a source of Mora, which is also very good, considering how much we all suffer with Mora sometimes. I like it. I think it's okay filler content, because at the end of the day, that is what it is. It's not. I wouldn't say it's amazing or anything, but it's solid filler content that you have to do on a weekly basis, I guess. I just wish that maybe one thing they could change is for the weekly bounties, maybe, is allow us to do more of them, more than the 3 times a week. Just let us not get any reputation, but let us get at least like the Mora, or maybe half the Mora at least, if anything. So it allows people to at least grind it. It's an infinite grind. It allows people to explore, do these bounties, get Mora as well, get a source of Mora basically, and go on with their day basically.
For sure. I actually didn't check 'cause I did it all solo last time. Is the Bounties co-op?
I'm
I
not
don't think
sure.
so. I don't think so.
I had some friends that were doing it on the Discord. I did mine solo. I personally, I think the bounties, that could be a lot of fun. It got really repetitive with the fact that you got to go run to 3 locations using your elemental sight, and then you fight the boss. Like, they could have just spawned the boss on the map, give it like a random set of abilities. Like, I noticed that some of them are like immune to damages of certain types or have a lot of resistances, or at least in my experiences, they had random buffs.
Yeah, they would, they're like, I think they mentioned like when you're using your elemental sight to find the clues, they mention like, oh, this thing is resistant or he's immune to like certain elements or something.
So I feel like they could skip that whole part, make it just an over the top fight where it just has a whole litany of buffs, or maybe there's like 3. Like, I picked the Rune Garden. I was doing Mondstadt, right? But I had to hunt 2 Rune Hunters and one of those guys that just walks around. And I mean, it was fun for the fight itself because there was all buffed up version of the monster. I felt like they can do a lot more with this. And we were talking about 2-3 podcasts ago about the ability or the idea of having crazy spawns or raid monsters spawning in the open world.
I was about to mention that just now, like something like Diablo 2 or Diablo 3-esque, where you could just be wandering around the world and unique bosses with unique properties.
Oh, that would be sick.
Well, I feel like they could use this system, right? And I could hail all my friends. We can go to the bounty person and just don't spawn that monster till I accept the bounty, right? And then for at least my world, I can accept the bounty and we can go hunt a dragon or something crazy, right? Maybe we do need to get some clues out, and that's when I can have all my friends spread out to all 4 corners of the earth while we play some Monster Hunter kind of deal where we track down this boss.
I was literally about to say, like, adding a Monster Hunter sub game into this game.
Yeah, that would really expand the possibility of Genshin Impact co-op. But I when I did it and I just kind of did elemental sight, found 3 things, and it spawned a Rune Hunter, I was just like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to give the developers credit because the game is very well put together, but there are definitely some very telltale gotcha signs about this game that are traits that are usually unique to gotcha games, like with some of the formatting of the events and the filler content. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing, because in lieu of having stuff that's always more meaningful, you get more frequent updates and over a longer period of time. So each style has its pros and its cons, but yeah, it would definitely be nice if they adopted, different little things from here and there. I mean, we already know that they're borrowing from other, successful games that came before them. They've already done it. There's no reason to stop now. They might as well keep adding cool little stuff, and it'll, expand the possibilities of the game, as opposed to just throw in filler content, wait for an update, throw in filler content, wait for an update. I mean, but
Well, for me, the bounties and the quests are kind of, like, I would say bad. I would not say bad, but they're like, just a little bit, a way to pass your time in game, because the bounties itself, it's like, you go, as Prof said, you use your elemental vision, you collect 3 clues about the monster, you kill it, and that's it, and you repeat it. It's kind of lacking, but I like the idea that, they started doing with, like, let's say you cannot use electro elements on this monster because he's immune. And I mean, they can expand a lot on this feature. They can add a lot of, like everyone already mentioned, we can have a lot of different monsters, a lot of different abilities. So they just mix up everything. We could actually have a really fun, bounty system in the future. I'm probably thinking they're gonna expand on this, not gonna just leave like that. At least I hope so. Because at the moment it's kind of stale, and the elemental vision in the game itself is kind of bad. I mean, it's like, it's just you press, you see stuff, around. It doesn't even provide like that proper clues. I mean, you can see like the lines and the lights, going, but is it really useful? I mean, besides that, it's pretty much,
Yeah,
like,
they could use it to make some creative puzzles and like mini games, but instead it's rather shallow, like you just mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that they're gonna improve on that as well on the bounties. Maybe add just specific monsters for the bounties. Just you can like find them anywhere in the world. There's gonna be some kind of big bosses, or something in the future. But at the moment, it's kind of repetitive after like a couple times of doing it.
Agree.
This guy's asking, has anybody encountered the fancy hilly troll? I don't know what he's talking about.
No, the way. Yeah, no,
way
I haven't.
unusual. I actually made a small guide about it. All the locations and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm actually farming it every day because it gives you, I think, 18 adventure XP.
Yeah, it gives you some AR, some other stuff as well. So it's nice, but I personally haven't been able to locate it. And people have been mentioning, like I think I was speaking to some people. I'm not sure. This is something that I wanted to ask you if you know it, because you said you made a guide, right?
Yeah.
Is it every 12 hours it respawns, or is it every day?
Basically, you can kill it 2 times every 12 hours. So in one day, in 24-hour cycle, you can kill 4 times. But there's a really good tip I would give. If you want to farm this guy, you just have to play co-op, because the XP limit per day is 180. So you can actually kill him up to 10 times with your friends, and you can get 180 XP every day.
Got it.
So you basically world bounce from each of the per people's worlds. And
Yeah. You just basically, let's say you have 3 friends, 4 friends. You just go into one's friend world, you kill him 2 times, switch to another, and repeat till you get him 10 times. Because that's the maximum you're gonna get for XP from it. Because after 10 times, you're not gonna get any more XP. That's it basically. You have to wait another 24 hours.
Makes sense, I guess. But yeah, no, I saw some stuff, but I've not seen the guy. I might have seen him, but I've ignored him.
15 spots in the world, basically the fixed locations. He's gonna be rotating. Let's say you're gonna kill him in one spot, he's gonna spawn in any other spot straight away after you kill the first one. But after you kill the second one, you have to wait 12 hours from the moment you killed it.
Got it. Makes sense. But yeah, I just knew he gave AR, but that's all I knew. I haven't seen. I might have seen him, but I ignored him, probably, knowing me.
I'm only at the moment. I'm only grinding that one because there's an achievement, and I wanna
get all the achievements.
Yeah, try to min-max my achievements board.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Well, I think we've pretty much exhausted that subject. I personally have started the new, Stars event. Have you guys started it well? And
I just finished it while doing the stream, actually.
Well, then go ahead and give us your intake. How'd you like it?
It was pretty easy, honestly. I didn't think that when you're doing it, there's actually more there than they actually lead you to believe. There's 7 in each area. You can actually get more than that. And from what I'm seeing, but the rewards for all of it, so far, it just seems like XP books is the best thing to buy. Looking at all the rewards. So I think I can do that every single daily. Collecting those meteorites is my assumption as of right now. But
they reset every day, because now I think on Asia server, the day 2 started, and I saw the pictures that it resets every day. So 90 primo gems every day, I suppose, if it's not gonna change, in the next parts.
I think right now, yeah, no, I like jumping off of that. It's not a bad start, especially if you have Fischl, you'll be fine, because Fischl basically has an echolocator on her back. You can notice it. If you have Fischl and you're using her and you're getting closer to the meteorite, if you look at her back, it starts glowing more and more blue, and it becomes a consistent blue when you're literally on top of it. So if you have Fischl, make sure you use her for finding these meteorites. It's much more easier that way. But yeah, no, for a start, it's not bad. It's a lot of fetching. I will admit that I was hoping for a bit more from the first part. I'm looking forward to the third part more now, because that's the one where we actually have to do some combat, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, combat is on part 3. Part 2, I think, is gonna be meteorite mining, something like that. I'm not sure about part 2, but it should start in a day or 2. Yeah. And you can use, that as you said, Fischl is gonna her vision is gonna start, shining brightly. It actually starts on all the characters except Wendy. And there's another tip for how you can find them. There's actually kind of loud sound when you're near the meteorite shard. It's gonna start like beeping or something like that. Because I was actually looking all over the place and I couldn't find one because the vision was bright. Then I hear the sound, and actually, that's over there, because I couldn't find it was under the rock, but the sound was getting louder as you get closer as well.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like visual and audio cues you can notice, especially if you have visuals. There's a lot of visual cues with it. So in that sense, it's at least nice. It's not like too crazy difficult to locate them, but it's still like, it's all right. I mean, it's not I was hoping for a bit more maybe, but I guess it'll do. I mean, hey, it's giving me like, as I mentioned last week, as long as we're getting a good event shop, I'm fine with it. And yeah.
Yeah, the event shop is really great in this one, actually, compared to the first event what we had, before.
I mean, the first event we didn't even have.
Yeah, we just had the XP books, when you claim for the residence. That was kind of,
Yeah, I'll give that credit where it's due. At least there's an event shop for this one.
I mean, it's gonna be kind of decent amount of Prima Gems if you count all 3 parts. From what I know, should be about 800 to 900 Prima Gems in total. Someone counted them. So, I mean, it's okay.
There is a co-op event. It's part of the third part of the event. So it's once we get to the fighting part, which is like in 5 to 6 days time, I think.
Something else, we touched on it earlier in the podcast, but there is a special upgrade item you guys need to grab from this event. Don't just skip this over and be like, oh, I don't care. There's some some Primo Gems and some EXP books. You only get one of this talent book, and it's going to be, gated based on these events. You need to grab it.
Yeah, if you don't want to grab anything else, just make sure you grab this at least minimum.
Yeah, I would say as well, this should be number 1 priority, because if they're gonna be only from the events, the seasonal ones, so you can't really farm them any other way. So make sure to grab at least this one, as everyone's saying. But if you actually look on the shop, it says limited in there. But on the side, it doesn't really say how many of them you're gonna be able to buy. Because I don't think if you go up and there is a talent shop, in the same shop with the talents, even on the purple books, it doesn't say how many you're gonna be able to buy. I think we have to wait for when the shop actually gonna starts with the event, then we're able to see if it's only 1 or maybe a little bit more. So it might be 2 or 3 instead of just 1, because I think just giving 1 in 3-week events, 2-week event is kind of a bit long time gating.
Yeah, I mean, if there were only 10 characters in the game, it wouldn't be so bad, but with this many characters, it's if you with how they set it up, imagine all your characters level 90. Your resources are stretched as thin as they are, getting everyone to that point. And then you roll a brand new 5-star character. It's going to be a solid time investment before you can even consider using that brand new character you just pulled.
Yeah.
And that's even more increased by them gating these resources. So.
Yeah, I like it. I was talking about earlier, I just pulled Chi-Chi off of going for Child. Was not able to get Child, but I got Chi-Chi, and all right, I'll max her out. I had nothing going in, dude. I had no XP books. I had really no money. And to max her out, I'm on day 3 or day 4. I'm just farming out XP books and money, just trying to get Chi-Chi to level. I think she's level 70 right now, and that's after 3 or 4 days of using all my resin to just do that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes quite a lot to level up the character. If you, let's say, you have used most of your materials, what you got, from starting the game and playing up to where you are now, you don't get books and that much more from any other sources beside ley lines, unless we get some events, and they give, some more Mora and XP books. But it's kind of.
I mean, they need to just scale the ley lines better. That's something they need to really update. The ley lines, they don't scale very well with how much your world level is, to be honest. Mm-hmm. You get at AR 45, you're getting only 4 or 5 heroes with per ley line run, which is frankly, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that low. Yeah. In my opinion, it's actually it's blasphemy, basically, in my opinion. Honestly,
you need 75 books and 300k just to get from 70 to 80. So
Yeah.
getting them 4 or 5 at a time, like have fun with
It's
that.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I think that's something they really need to update to like 15 to 20 per run at least.
I think
Or at best, maybe okay, fine, maybe not 15, 20, but 10 at least. I don't mind doing 7 runs to get these EXP books, but like, come on, it should not be like 50 runs to get the books needed for leveling a character to 80.
Or alternatively, like maybe get some like resources, like you can craft up the weapon EXP materials by getting white iron and crystals and steel. Maybe they introduce some like enchanted plant fibers or paper, and you can collect them and craft books. Like
I mean, they could just add up, XP to the monsters. So you could just kill the monsters, and you would get like
That'd be
proper
nice.
XP.
Well, we do already. It's just really, really
Yeah. I mean,
little.
it's like not even noticeable. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
it's all about the scaling, and the scaling, quite frankly, in the game is quite terrible when it comes to rewards, in my opinion. At least when it comes to like experience-based rewards. And
I mean, the event shop is gonna have like 150 hero wits in it, so I would buy those.
oh yeah, no, that's also very much a vital thing you should be
Yeah.
buying as well. The XP books are so good.
Yeah, at least event shop has them. At least something for us to look out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just gets real rough when those events aren't available. That's when you notice it the most.
Yeah, I mean the part 2 event, from what I know, someone in the chat typed as well. We're gonna have like small shard mining, so part 2 should begin like in 2 days, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost resins as well.
That's
So-
gonna be fun.
Like
Hey,
we're
man.
gonna find, I suppose we're gonna find like some chunk of meteorites. We're gonna mine it. If you wanna claim the the shards, you're gonna have to pay
Yeah.
resins.
Yep, I guess that is the case. I mean, hey, that's why I've been saving my fragile resin may
Yeah.
as well at this point.
yeah, I've used up all my fragile resin. Hopefully, there's not a need for primos or anything. We can get away with our daily resin regen.
Yeah,
I saved my fragile resins. I have like 32 right now.
you crazy.
Oh, I've been obsessed with artifact hunting. It's so much fun, seeing your
yeah.
numbers go up.
I think I'm at like 22 fragile resin. I've been a bit cautious as well.
Tried to
think
tell
Austin
him I
did
would save him till 45, but he was gung ho about burning them up.
Yeah, burned them all. Yeah, sorry, my phone's going off like crazy there. Yeah, I've been burning them pretty quick. I have like 3.
Yeah, I mean then that's just something the game kind of forced you to do, because otherwise there's no way to play the game and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to wait for resins to refill. You don't have much else to do.
Well, I don't know. When I'm out of resin, I find myself like literally right now. I'll go down my list of quests. If there's nothing I can update, I just start killing stuff. Or I'll do cube myself in a co-op for the little, I guess, dungeons I know that are a little bit more difficult, just to hit stuff with other people.
I feel the same way, and not to dog Genshin at all, but when I want to just go kill stuff, I've been thoroughly enjoying Assassin's Creed Valhalla for that.
Yeah, Nas got me to install it, and I'm actually really enjoying it as well.
I don't think there's any jumpy dumpies in Valhalla, so
Yeah,
gonna
we
keep
don't
playing
have
like
the
the
online
other
there
guy.
as well.
I will say climbing without a stamina bar is quite refreshing.
Yeah,
That is
it's
true.
getting used to.
or that you didn't summon for the main
Don't worry
character.
about falling off any mountains when you're 3/4 of the way up to the top. But yeah, I definitely I don't know. There's tons of stuff that I do believe the developers are going to continue to keep their eyes on and address as time goes on. Again, the game is still too new for us to really dog it that hard. But with that being said, we do have to keep a close eye on them, because they are having no shortage of income problems. So they just need to make sure that, they take some of that money.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a lot of people complain on the forums, official ones, that there's a big lack of content, on how much budget they have, and especially after the release, how much they got, and how much content they actually got with 1.1. I mean, with that kind of budget, they could actually have done more. I mean, we can judge as well. As I said, we need to wait for further updates, how they're gonna invest that money back into the game.
But
Well,
we
I
have
mean-
to remember that at the end of the day, this isn't a triple A company. Yes, it's a big company in terms of like what they've achieved with like Honkai and now Genshin, but these are just like Genshin is. They were a mobile gaming company first. This is technically their first foray into what is effectively a triple A kind of title. So it's understandable that they're taking their time with it. Plus, I assume if they have a team of like, I'm not gonna assume they have a team of like 100, 150, which is what most mobile game companies do tend to have. But I'm assuming that's more so around 400, 500, which is still less than like a lot of major like big world game companies. Let's take Square Enix and Avengers for example. See how they're handling their game there over there. Like, I know it's not we should be looking at this game primarily, but if you compare it to like other companies who have floundered even with bigger budgets and bigger names and bigger teams.
For all the crap I talk about Genshin, and for how huge of a Marvel fanboy I am, Genshin Impact is running absolute mad circles around the Avengers game that just came out.
Yeah, if you're comparing games as a service that are going on right now, Genshin is just probably the best games as a service we have right now.
But that in and of itself is a blessing and a curse. But because they are the best, there's going to be heavier scrutiny like lobbied at them. Because when you're the king, everyone's going to try and take you down, right? So that's something to consider.
I mean, we just have to give him time, like 1 year. Then I would say after a year we can start judging, them how they went with the game, and how it improved,
Yeah, I'll give it like, as I said, I'm gonna give it like 5 to 6. It's 5th or 6th anniversary still. I think 6-month anniversary, not 6th anniversary in terms of general. That's way too far. That's 6 years. No, I meant like 5th or 6-month anniversary. See what they do between now and 1.3/1.4, because I think the next region, basically, I'm giving them up to the next region because that's where we'll see how much they've changed since the start of the game.
Agreed.
Well, next region not being Dragon's, like I mean proper region.
Yeah.
Good segue. Speaking of the next regions, we got some leaks coming down the pipe already for 1.2, and we have I guess Keanu and Alberto for I guess a bow and sword user. Jez, do you got more information on the leaks for us?
Yeah, I kind of have. I mean, we're getting 2 5-stars, like new 5-star characters in the game, which is gonna be Ganyu. She's gonna be using bow, from what we know.
She's and ice bow user, right? Just
ice. Yes, cryo. My bad. I actually forgot the part about the elements. And then we're getting Albedo, which is gonna be geo element, sword user. We don't know pretty much about the skills, what kind of skills they have yet. I mean, there's some images floating throughout the internet, I mean, I can't confirm if they're like real or not. We have to wait and see, more, stuff from the devs itself. Whenever they're gonna reveal, it's probably not gonna happen anytime soon because we're still like in 1.1 update. We're still gonna have Zhongli and Xinyang. I can't spell her name properly. And yeah, we're gonna get Dragon Spine. It's a new location. It's not a full new region. It's just like a new area, on the map near Mondstadt. I think it counts as part of Mondstadt, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, it's that big icy mountain right in the middle of the map right now.
Yeah, you can actually see it already in the map. There says if you zoom it in, it says Dragon Spine, but the area is at the moment is not available. You cannot access it. There is nothing in there at the moment. Just some blurred out models or stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all unrendered filler textures. Like the complete mountain is hollow. Like if you do the little heavy sword spinning, break the camera trick, and go out there, it's literally nothing. They're just graphical assets that are placeholders. So I would expect as soon as that update goes live, that area in the middle is going to be considerably different looking than what we've become used to.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's gonna probably much different, I don't have like I did not see the images, like how it's exactly gonna look. I see the minimap images of it. It's look like it's gonna have one new domain, which is gonna be probably ice and hydro sets, which were leaked already, if I'm not mistaken. So we're getting new artifact sets for the game. Then I think we're getting some new enemies. There was some pictures of them as well. If I'm not mistaken, we're gonna get some new kind of like Animoculus, but I'm not sure how they're called. They look like reddish, maybe bloods or something like that. I'm not sure the name of them, but as well, the area is gonna be able, to explore. Probably gonna be new statue, like we have like animal statue in Mondstadt. Not sure what it's gonna unlock. We have to see as well. I don't think
Now-
I have more.
Well, there's apparently, at least what I heard, is this area is not going to be happy-go-lucky, just wandering around. It's hostile. Like the actual environment itself is going to be killing you.
We're gonna have temperature system, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, you're gonna have to keep yourself warm. So you're gonna have to go to like torches or like fire pits, every like 5 to 10 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that
Depending-
reminds me of Final Fantasy VII back in the day.
Yeah, I think it depends on how the climate is in that area at the moment, because the climate supposedly is gonna change, like, in game time. I don't know how often, but it's gonna be like light snow and heavy snow. I'm not sure how fast, the bar is gonna drop. Maybe if it's like heavy, snow, it's gonna like go way faster than normally. But apparently, you're gonna have to keep yourself warm at all times, if you want to explore the stuff, because it's gonna probably, you go near to the light source, it's gonna refill, then you have like 5 minutes, explore, then go back again, refill, and explore again.
Now, is this like the actual legitimate ice region in the game, or is this just another?
No. This is just extension of Mondstadt. Apparently, I'm not sure if the mountain itself counts as part of the Mondstadt, or just like it's like neutral zone, in the game. But it's not like ice region. Ice region is gonna be way.
So I thought we were going to like an electric zone here soon.
We know the cryo region is Snezhnaya, and we know that this is a bit spoilery, but in Childe's side story, one of the characters that comes from Snezhnaya says they came via boat. So that means it's probably just like Inazuma, and it'll be across the ocean or something like that. So a lot of, I think from now on, a lot of the regions, at least eastwards, like Snezhnaya and Inazuma, will probably be across that big ocean that we see, that we see.
Yeah,
but
I
we can't
mean,
cross.
there are some ships. I think if you go onto one of those ships, they actually say that stuff about Inazuma if you talk with the NPCs in there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I supposedly, that way where we're gonna, probably go with the ship, or who knows how we're gonna reach that new region. But I think, as Gail said, it's gonna be going throughout that ocean.
So, I guess lore-wise, is this area under the rule of Venti or Barbados?
That's actually a good question. If it's gonna be part of Mondstadt, then yeah, it should be under the Venti, or as you said, Barbados. But if it's like kind of like neutral region, it's might have just like, I don't know, maybe just like safe zone, not safe zone, like neutral zone, doesn't have like the land doesn't belong to anybody, I suppose.
The land belongs to the monsters.
Well, yeah.
They're not worth settling over there.
No, but yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see now. Obviously, I mean, we have like 5 weeks still. Next update, like the big update.
It's around Christmas time. I think 23rd December, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think it was 23rd. If I'm not mistaken as well. So that's like good, 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
How do you guys feel about the timing between banners right now?
I feel like, especially for how impactful these characters are. And if this doesn't feel like a Legends banner, right? A Legends banner, you can kind of go, and just go to the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
These characters are so incredibly unique that I feel like they're disappearing too quickly.
Mm.
Well, I think one thing they need to start also potentially rerunning some banners. I think at this point, I was hoping that we'd from the leaks itself, I was assuming that maybe we'd only get like 1 5-star, and then maybe the second 5-star would be like, Venti rerun or something like that. But I think the timing between banners is okay. It's 3 weeks between each banner. But if you're somebody who's trying to go for all characters and you're free to play, yeah, it's not gonna happen, unfortunately, unless you're really lucky. it's getting this feeling of the general gacha where it's like, oh, if you're free to play, you have to go for characters you want, otherwise don't. Otherwise you can't get all of them.
Yeah, especially if you're free to play, you cannot get all the new.
It's practically impossible. The pity is too far away. It's what 80
because the game doesn't provide us that much of primo gems.
Right? Yeah. I will admit, like as you mentioned, the primo gem count is increasing slightly with the events and the login bonuses. It's noticeably. We have the web event right now live in the game as well, which is awesome. I think it's just this nice mini game that's you can access, and it's giving like 150 200 primo gems.
Yeah,
it's not much. It's not much, but it's a single. It adds up in the end. But yeah, no, it's compared to the start for like the first 3 weeks, first 3 to 4 weeks. It feels like I'm getting a better income of primo gems per day now than I was then. But it's still obviously like it's not enough for a free to play player to go like, oh, I'm gonna summon on everything and get everything basically.
I mean, if those seasonal events, what we're getting now, like we're gonna get those like every big patch, like a new seasonal event, and let's say each of them gonna give us like 1,000 primo gems, and you get dailies. If you have your party set up, you can do Abyss. If you clear all of it, well, free to play won't probably clear all 12 floors, at least till later. But you can still manage to get like 200-300 primo gems every 2 weeks. So in a month, like another 600 primo gems from there. So you can still, get like, let's say, around maybe 3,000 with all the events in a month, I would say. Maybe a bit more.
I remember seeing something on the wiki that, wait, let me just check. I remember the wiki had like a full-on count of how much you could get per day. Or not per day, per month, sorry. Not per day. Per day is a bit too less. Per week, per month, yeah, including Spiral Abyss, floors 9 to 12, commissions, Battle Pass monthly card, it would just amount up to like around 4,000, 5,000 primo gems. But if you're just looking at the commissions and Spiral Abyss, it's like 2,400 per month. Excluding like any other like login bonuses and events and stuff like that, which obviously
I mean we keep getting those login bonuses like almost every week now. I mean there's small gaps between them, but we're getting like 300.
Yeah, I think it's like every 2 weeks or so now we get the seize the day event thingy, whatever it's called.
And then, I mean, we're getting all the small events on the sides, like that Stone Harbor is going on right now, 200. We had those the treasure hunt we had as well, where we had, find those boxes. That guy who actually you trade for the boxes. So that was another event.
Oh, yeah, the traveling merchant, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting some, events on the side. I mean, so it adds up. So I think in a month, I don't know, maybe, let's say around 5,000 you can manage to get, if it's a good month. Maybe a bit more, Yeah. Obviously, let's hope it's gonna improve, with next update, so we can actually get more 5-star characters we want. Because if you actually count
the thing is, I think, with how they've been treating like these 4-star characters and they're distributing them like candy, basically. Fischl, Barbara twice now. We've got Zhangling as well. I don't know if we'll get anything in the next update. Who knows? But the way they've been progressing, I think inevitably we're gonna start getting maybe like some of the older 5-stars for like free, maybe like 1 copy. Here you go.
I can imagine that. Maybe on the first year anniversary, they might give, from those, I think it was 5 base 5-star characters when we started the game.
The 5 perma characters: Diluc, Keiching, Chi-Chi, Mona, and who's the 5th one? Jean. Yeah, there you go.
Jean. So I think maybe one of them might be available, at some point in the game, because they're basically like the base starter game characters. I would count them like that.
Yeah.
But obviously we have to wait and see, till,
Well, yes, we do have a free 5-star. Us, we are the 5-star. You're not wrong. But I'm talking about like a gacha 5-star. God damn it! don't be smart, guys. Come on.
My traveler's still level 1, bro. I don't know about you, but
actually my traveler I level up my traveler because I think the potential he has, or they have, I should say, depending on if you chose female or male. I think they have a huge potential for being amazing, especially once they get all the other elements. But I can see why for now you don't want to level them up for sure.
As well, if you see in the fight, in the new weekly boss fights, like in the cutscene, our character.
Spoilers.
Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, most of you know what's gonna be in there, what I'm talking about. So in the future, we might be able to do that. I'm not gonna say what.
Yeah. There's something that happens during the fight that's really cool, and it would be amazing if we could actually apply that into an actual fight.
Yeah, that would be like make the character like unique, like even more unique than what we have already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna lodge my agreement in there that it's he's a character in the making. It's kind of like Shallot in Dragon Ball Legends. For anyone that might be familiar with him, he was the main character of the game. Unusably terrible for the longest time, and then once his kit finally started to come together and power creep started to catch up with him, he was arguably one of the best characters in the game for the longest time, and even still usable right now. So. Main character in this game, very, very similar. Like right now, the functionality of the character is very limited, being that they only have the wind and the earth regions. But once all the rest of the regions start to drop, look at him again like a year and a half from now, probably going to be a completely different story.
Yeah, and they can always go back to like the Animo and Geo kits and decide that they are not keeping up with today and update.
Yeah, I mean, from what I know, I don't know personally, but I hear that MiHoYo tends to buff characters. Like that's what happened with the Honkai, at least from what I know. So I mean, the Genshin could get the same treatment as well down the line.
Yeah, a couple characters already were buffed, like at least going from the beta to the 1.0 release. Like, wasn't Diluc's attack speed increased, and a couple other characters had
with stuff like Mona. I think people were complaining a lot about Mona being super clunky in the 1.0 test. People were like, she's not very easy to use, her movement is kind of wonky, her running animations were odd, or her sprint animation was not transitioning well into an attack or something. And lo and behold, in the final release, it was a lot better from what I've heard from said people. So yeah. So they will make changes, I think, especially when it comes to these units. I think Traveler is, as you mentioned, as Naz mentioned, definitely a character in the making. And yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to buff him as well, because he is the MC, so they want to make sure he keeps up with, the new stuff. At least at least obviously the older elements will need to get buffed, of course.
Something cool I think they could do for the Traveler that I don't know how difficult ultimately this would be, but since he's got access to all of the regions, it would also be nice if they gave you the ability to use like every weapon type with him also. Make him...
Yeah, that was I think something that we are that I was thinking about, but like I was hoping maybe down the line that he would be also unique and we could use like a dual sword kind of go Kirito basically from SAO and just wield two swords at the same time, something like that. That would be cool as well. Like make him just unique, just go all guns blazing inevitably. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, just make it the best character in the game so we don't need to summon anymore.
I mean, to be fair, like, it wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't be surprised if a year down the line from now, it's literally everybody's running Traveler, but in different elements. So somebody's running Pyro Traveler, I'm running Cryo Traveler, somebody else is running Electro Traveler, and that's how we get into like events.
Yeah, I think it totally depends, what the kit's gonna look, with other elements. If it's gonna be like really good kits, maybe a really good support, on let's say like Dendro element, which is not in game yet. So I mean, maybe a lot of people are gonna run that because it's gonna be like a really, really good support. It just depends on what kits they're gonna actually introduce. But I mean, I would like to see some buffs on Amber, guys. I mean, she's kind of bad.
Who? Are you talking
Amber.
about Lighter? You mean Lighter?
No. I'm talking about Amber, the different character.
No, she's a Lighter. She's a Lighter.
Lighter.
I call her a lighter because she's just used to light up shit for me.
Yeah, okay.
Go into her charge shots.
Because I've seen a lot of people were as well complaining about Amber, especially that she scales all the HP and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Yeah. So people, expecting some buffs maybe in the future. Who knows? It totally depends on the devs, how they're gonna approach this game.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's exceptionally painful that Amber and Kaya, both of them, neither of them are super desirable, and those are the ones you get straight out the gate. So
Yeah, I mean the characters that they give out for free, like those the starter characters, like someone really made a good point. The characters they give, they should be able to clear all the game without you needing to like pay for anything. Let's say when
Well,
you're gonna. I mean, you technically can. Yeah, I mean,
you
you technically
can if you
can.
build it right. Like Kaya
But-
isn't embarrassingly bad, but would it be fun? No, I don't
So,
think it's a lot of
But
fun.
could
to
you
be
take this character to the like difficult content like Last Floor of Abyss? You couldn't actually manage to do that with these characters. I don't think you could.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You would have to have the perfect set, I think, for that. I think.
and
I
some
think if you
consolation.
had like full level.
Yeah,
90,
maybe so. You might need some constellation as well, but that's not constituting as free at that point.
Yeah, because someone actually like made a really good point that the free characters they give out, they should be able to clear all the content, even the hardest one.
I think one thing they need to definitely do maybe is instead of having the constellations for these characters locked behind the gacha, I think the free characters, especially like for not including Zhangling or Fischl or Barbara, but like for specifically units like Kaya, Lisa, and Amber, I think we should have gotten their constellations for free.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I mean, they should be available maybe with some quests, specifically for those characters, or maybe with some kind of even reputation system could like include at certain levels constellations for them. They could have made it in a lot of ways. We could have got them, but maybe in the future we'll see.
Well, unless you guys object, I think we should just skip the break and go right into the questions.
Sure, let's go.
All right. If Hydros can pull those up real quick, you can go ahead and read the first one off. It's coming from the Legion. He's asking, what are some new mechanics you guys think should be added into the game? I personally really like this gadget thing, and I wanna see them expand on these universal abilities, if you would, that you can transfer over to any character. What about you, Ness?
I kind of touched on it earlier, but the thing that's going to keep my interest in this game the most are going to be those bosses that have a lot of diversity, different strategical ways of approaching them, different stages and phases that they're going to go through. Like the bigger, the more epic, the more farmable like boss fights or dungeons. Like it doesn't have to specifically be just you queue up this mission and go fight a boss. There could be a whole level dungeons, like multi-tier dungeons, then you get to the boss at the very bottom. But prioritizing on that actual gameplay content of not just filler, like a bunch of low-level mobs, but having some exciting, like memorable boss fights that are fun to do over and over again with friends.
Basically, child, but more.
Yeah,
effective.
Child is like one of
I
those,
think I think they did the child boss fight perfectly. It's just they need to now do it more effectively. I agree.
And then maybe attach a little bit of a dungeon that leads up to him with maybe a couple puzzles to open some doors, some mini bosses.
I will admit that was one thing I was definitely hoping from the Golden House. Was like I was hoping it would be like a small dungeon. Maybe you go through it and then you reach the like thing, because when you see Golden House you think, okay, there's something else. You go through a house and then the boss fight at the end, but it was just like straight up, oh hello, hi, how are you guys doing? Time to beat you guys up today, I guess.
I mean, they don't have to go like full blown like crazy with the puzzles. I mean, just some simple stuff where like, I don't know, if it was designed with co-op in mind, where you like one player stand on one button, another player stand on another button, that opens the door. Like it's just simple stuff like that. You get through, you fight some mini bosses, then you get to the main boss at the end. He's got like 3 or 4 different phases. Boom, you're done. Like, that's going to be the type of stuff that would compel me to stick to the game more seriously the most.
What I want to see is kind of what Hydros is saying, how like the free to play, like they add like these little tools in there that basically give the abilities of a awesome summonable character like Venti, allowing you to get to higher spots and stuff like that. There's some talents with Klee and Chi-Chi that allow you to see herbs and Mondstadt. Yeah, so I'd like to see something like that implemented as well. Like make a free to play version to get these perks and talents. Like allow people to work for these abilities.
Oh, I need to actually amend mine. I remember the one thing I want more than any other ability in the game right now.
What's that?
I want like a pet system that automatically runs around and gathers my items for me.
I
Like,
actually
I'm
talked
not
with
talking
them
about
about
like
this one, I
mining
think.
for you and stuff, but like if I kill a monster, just run over there and grab it for me. That way,
Yeah,
it never
that
really
would be
moves
cool.
around.
The current best way of doing that is using Venti's ult because it just collects all the stuff in the middle of the tornado and then just spits it out on the ground right below it.
Well, I mean, if you had like a hawk pet or something that would fly around and pick stuff up, like stuff that like falls out in the water, that's a pain in the rear to go get.
Just
Nah,
a fish
man,
was
my
raven
little
to get
my
it.
Oz flies over there and grabs
Yeah,
it. You know what I
Oz
mean?
just yeets over there to
Yeah,
get
that's
the
definitely
items.
doable because you have stuff like Oz, and then you have Diluc, who's got his Falcon, and they can-
Anyways, that's what I want. The one
I mean,
quality
I
of my
can-
feature would be auto gathering for me.
In before, next thing we know, 5-star pet banner coming soon, TM.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening. I mean, I can see happening pets in the game at least. Pets and mounts. I can see them happening.
Yeah.
So, I would actually for myself for the new kind of mechanic feature. I would go with probably dual wielding and diving. I mean, diving would be actually fun. With some underwater puzzles and stuff like that, which I think might happen. In the Hydro
region.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
we
hope
get
so.
a wielding character leaked?
What?
Sworn one of the leaked characters was holding two swords, right?
No, not that I know of.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there was a leak about the new weapons, I did not mention them. And apparently a couple of them was craftable. If the leaks were true.
I don't want to rally anybody up, but I could have sworn I saw some stuff, people getting hyped about a dual sword.
Oh, wait. I know, man. I know. I actually, there was one picture, but that picture was fake. That picture was fake. It was actually me who posted in your Discord, so my bad.
Oh wow! Okay, I know I read somewhere about a dual sword character. Come on!
Oh man,
my bad.
So
my bad.
You just got rickrolled in 4K.
Absolutely, they caught you in 4K.
I hear you got caught in 4K earlier, Ness.
No, that was all intentional.
Okay,
there was no catching to be had there. I was not trying to hide anything.
Yeah, just to round up, my personal mechanic, I guess, would be honestly jumping off the dual wielding thing. I'd like a dual sword holding character, but if they had to add a weapon type, add a sort of like a gunslinger. I think we've mentioned this multiple times. Nas has also mentioned it. A gunslinger character, have energy bullets or elemental bullets instead of actual bullets, of course.
Yeah, and then their weak attack is like some dual revolvers, and then when they use their elemental burst, they crouch down and pull out one of the sniper rifles and do a big shot.
Yeah, or even so, you could have sub-typings within that gunslinger category. Like you've mentioned, you could have a character with dual wielding pistols. You could have a character with a sniper. Somebody who has a shotgun or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a lot of different, let's say base weapon types at least. There's a lot of potential. Even daggers, maybe some kind of assassin style, characters. Yeah, there's a lot of potential on that.
Elemental burst is they go invisible, and then when they come out of invisibility, they have buff damage and do some AOE stuff.
Yep. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. The only reason I highly recommended a gunslinger character is because we've already seen in game.
Yep, the Fatui.
Fatui using firearms, so they're already existing in the universe already. So it would be a natural jump to then give a player character that could have access to. So.
Well, when you actually mention that, I think it's actually going to happen in one point, or another in game. Just
it
matter
has
of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless there's some huge stigma in China with guns or something. I mean, I couldn't imagine they wouldn't want to emulate some type of cowboy-esque type character in the design, the modeling. I think of and I don't know how many people are gonna get this in the chat, but Irving from Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh yeah. I got it. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah. So something like that would do wonders for this game.
Yeah, we still don't have axes in the game as well. I want to have my big axe, and
that's actually a good one. I forgot about axes.
Yeah, I as well just remember now, when we're talking. I think I'm missing something,
Yeah, axes would be awesome as well.
Yeah, the closest thing to an axe is that one version of a spear, the halberd, and that's
Oh yeah,
not good enough.
actually
Not
similar
good.
kinda, you know.
We need
I
a
mean-
battle axe, or you give both of you the best of both worlds and make some Viking style character that's got 2 hand axes. Like, so he's got
Ooh.
a hand axe in each hand. You got dual wielding.
Yeah.
Let's hope they're gonna, add more, weapon-based types in the future. I mean, that would be really great, like more diversity, more diverse characters, and, they as well could benefit from that, People like different type of characters, different type of weapons as well.
Yes, someone in the chat just brought up an interesting point, Max V Zo, that different weapons equals more gacha possibilities. And while that is painful, when you look at this game, like, all of the filler content of summons in this game is weapons. Like, there is no character filler in this game because there's no 3-star character. Like,
Yeah.
So diversifying the pool of weapons is kind of necessary. Otherwise, the filler pool never gets bigger. So,
Move on to the next question. Divine Lotus is asking if swimsuit or hot springs units. I guess he means specifically units and not costumes.
I mean, I could go either way. Like, I don't know. If it's costumes, that means they're going to plan on introducing an entire costume system into this game, which is going to extend outside of just bathing suit waifus, which we've talked about before. The general consensus is we would prefer that they not be like stat affected cosmetics, and they are purely for looks only.
Yeah, just cosmetics and free to play friendly.
The only reason I don't see them being units is because they would have to be the same element. They can't have a different vision, or well, unless you're a child, but that's besides the point. But none of the other characters have like experience in any of the other visions, unless they do a separate event or make like an alternate universe for each event where the specific unit has a different vision in that world or something like that. But it would get too confusing too quickly.
I also hope they stick purely with just cosmetics instead of having a whole dedicated summer unit or a swimsuit unit, right? Because, like, let's say you really like the kit of the unit that you're enjoying, right?
I was going to say, unless that's part of that character's, like, shtick, like their design, like, oh, this is a character and she just always wears a swimsuit around everywhere. It would kind of be a little bit weird, but if it's a seasonal unit release, then...
I mean, I would summon. I would summon.
Yeah. That's the problem, dude. I hate outfits for characters, man. I have no problem dropping $25, $30 on an outfit, but at the same time, when it comes to buying my own clothes, I'm like, I'm not spending $25 on that shirt.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'll be more prone to buying costumes for characters in my game rather than myself. You're not wrong on that one.
Anyways, I guess the next question we got coming from Flipside. Favorite story quest so far?
A main story quest, I'd say
definitely for me it was the one that just released.
Yeah, I'd say main story.
Well.
Yeah, the main story I'd say this one, but side story I'd have to give to the child one was really fun, enjoyable. Very long and very annoying because of one character specifically, but in terms of like wholesomeness, it was pretty solid.
I like the Timmy story so far. If when he gives you his story, if you annihilate all the ducks, he gets really mad at you, and it starts a whole different question.
Isn't this a daily commission?
Yeah, but he will get mad at you if you do that, and then the next quest, his mother will start talking to you or whatever, and then you can keep repeatedly terrorizing him. Like, if you see all the birds are stacked up next to him and you have a commission, you can slaughter all the birds on the bridge, and he'll see them all.
That sounds like a bad man, prof man.
Oh no!
How could you do that?
Every time you talk to Timmy, he's a little bit more upset. I've been collecting the footage on my OBS every time I talk to him. So hopefully I'll have a whole collection.
Next thing we know, he becomes like a Dark Lord or something. And then
oh, dude, yeah,
over.
1.4.
Jesus Christ.
He's actually like the second Harbinger.
To be fair, we did mention. To be fair, in that old interview that we mentioned, they did say that he was gonna have some part in the story. So,
I mean, they said they're gonna develop, the NPC character stories a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
My favorite story quest, I would probably agree that it was most of this new stuff that just came out, be it giant hydras, floating castles, lots of set pieces, a lightning water user that looks like a Gundam. Like, I mean, it's hard to top that so far in the game. Previously to that, I mean, Dvalin was my favorite experience in the game because it's the thing that most emulates like an actual boss fight. I mean, the wolf is close, but the wolf is it's easy. It's straight up easy no matter what. Like, I don't know. I find no challenge in the wolf whatsoever. Not that Dvalin is that much harder, but at least there's some sort of strategy and phases to him. Like, the wolf just goes from like ice to wind, runs around, tries to dash at you.
I just feel the wolf story was actually itself as a story was actually too short. I think we just went straight into the fight. It did not. I mean, they had that small. What?
I was agreeing with you. It just ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really quick. I mean, they did not even have like backstory on it. Like proper. What's going on? What is the wolf? I mean, they had like a small, like background, but that was like a couple minutes.
Yeah. But definitely all the new content is like the most appealing in terms of the set pieces and everything that's happening. Big monsters, effects, cool stuff filling the whole screen. So yeah, it's hard to say anything other than that. And then in terms of just the little side missions, I think of the ones I've done so far, I enjoyed the storytelling of Bounties the most, because it actually had some type of emotion and made you maybe feel a little bit of some type of way, that one. Outside of that, yeah, Dvalin, the new stuff, more boss fights, please. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much for me is the same, I would say the new stuff was nice as well told. For the side stories, I would go probably with Mona, even though it was boring. But since she's like my favorite character, I just enjoyed the story just because of that. Just simple as that, just because was Mona in there.
Yeah, and the end of it, you're keeping her close by, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's head into our final question. Then this one comes from Tyler Ron, and it is at 5'9". Do you think the Gadget system is unhealthy for the free-to-play community? And I guess there's a second part to it. Why are they being so stingy about more Primo gems? And
well, for the first question, it's just the way of every gacha. Unfortunately, they need to make money somehow. It's unfortunate, but that it'll always be a bit harmful to the free to play community. Only a few games have managed to successfully do it. Ore Collection being one, and Ore Collection, for those who don't know, it was a gacha game based on the entire Shonen Jump series, basically, and they were known for being probably one of the most free to play games out there. But because it was one of the most free-to-play games out there, and it was super free-to-play, nobody needed to spend a lot of money for it and whatnot, it led to its own downfall, basically, and it didn't generate enough revenue to stay afloat. And hence why we lost it, and it no longer exists. So while I do agree that gacha games is technically toxic, shall we say, to the free-to-play community, I think all of us would be in agreement with that. Like, gacha games in general are not healthy in any format, but they need to survive as well, and that's why they do it. And why we also get suckered in is because we love these IPs and these characters.
Yeah, we only play because of Waibus and husbandos. That's mainly the reason everyone here is playing the game. Well, not everyone, but a lot of us, I suppose now.
That was my initial draw, right? Is attractive looking character models, and the world, everything looked good, graphically speaking. Lots of particle effects in this game, and imitation anime that looks pretty authentic. But yeah, I mean, it's very hard for me to get into games that are characters that I don't really have any prior establishment with. Like Dragon Ball games, very easy to get into. It's much easier to tolerate the gacha because it's just character and lore that I grew up with. I love it. This game is a little tougher, and I'm just gonna go on record again for the millionth time as just saying that I personally can't speak for anybody else. I absolutely loathe gacha. It's so toxic. I know it makes some money. I know that there are trade-offs that are good, that we get constant development cycle and better lifespan on the games. But I still just hate it. I'm the type of person that I see something, I want it. Let me give you money and give me what I want. Like I hate summoning and getting not what I want. So me personally, I hate it. And of course, I think the gacha elements are toxic and bad because some people are going to have stuff, other people are going to want it. They're going to be jealous. Then that's, the game is trying to con those people into spending more money. There's nothing healthy about the entire system. It's like purely based around earning money. So yeah, I don't really like that. But at the same time, we live in 2020. Don't have much option to really fight back against it besides speaking with your wallet. So if you want to enjoy the game, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and play them anyway. Otherwise, you make a stand and you protest and you don't play them. So that's your choice. You accept it and shut up and play it, or don't play it. I mean, you're kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place sometimes.
Well, I actually think that don't have to just necessarily quit if the overwhelming community just doesn't spend. Like, a lot of people are willing to, buy the battle pass, buy this, buy that. If you're truly unhappy with the game and you don't spend $1, they see that this account truly doesn't spend anything, right? And they see that number. I'm sure they're going to try to entice you with more, I guess, reasonable purchases or whatever it may be, but
maybe.
I think it's important to support the game.
Target the 1% of people that spend uber quantities of money. That's their target demographic, is the 1%. And then they pick up whatever else they can along the way. So maybe they'll be more conscious to free-to-play players. Maybe not. Time will tell.
How come a Genshin doesn't reset their sales, bro?
Yeah, that's something that I was hoping they would do, like how Grand Cross does. Hydros can back me up on that one. Grand Cross basically does this system where every banner they reset the buy one get one free. I was hoping they'd do the same here, but yeah. Apparently Nolar also mentioned that MiHoYo, in Honkai, they don't reset sales ever. So if we take their other game as an example, then we're bound to get no sales for this one either, to be honest.
Sucks. I did see that they
legitimately hate you.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Because they legitimately hate you.
They just want your money. That's it, bro.
The pity carries over. Like, you can legitimately sit down in Genshin, plan out your summons, know when you're going to pull a 5.
Oh man, screw that! Nobody wants to do that.
I'm not saying
that's what I want it, bro. Like, I don't want to.
I mean, that's technically the way to buy a character. I mean, you just have to spend $400, and you're gonna get
that's terrible.
Like, I mean, it's only $400,
When people have normalized spending thousands of dollars in these games, heck, we're guilty of it here at 5-9. We have
no. We are not. No longer
showing off an account with thousands of dollars literally spent on it.
Yeah, but that was, yes, he can afford to do that because he has a very nice job, but at the same time, that was kind of in the mind of creating content for the whole community to be able to benefit from.
He's not unique is what I'm getting at here, though.
No, well, he has a problem, bro. He's over there wailing on a Disney game right now. Like,
Disney
make
game
that
is
much
fun.
money.
Do not.
When you make that much money, is the problem really a problem? It's really not. So, let the man do what he wants. That's my philosophy. But the point being that gacha is terrible.
Gacha, like I mentioned at the start, gachas can be toxic only if you manage to do a good job in maintaining a good free-to-play standard. You see Regalia, as I mentioned, or Collection as well. But the more you do it, the higher the chance of the game going down. As I mentioned, or Collection is an example. Regalia can survive because it has the backing of Nintendo. And the fact that it's uber popular as well, and it's got a global release, whereas Or Collection only had a JP release. Had it had a global release, we would have probably said something different. We probably would have still been here. But yeah, basically that's the point. Like, there's no gacha game that's ever gonna be like uber perfect or anything. Like, you see games like FGO and Dokkan making like billions of dollars a year. Like, FGO makes $1 billion a year, genuinely, just off the fact that it has the characters it has, and that's about it. The gameplay has not changed in nearly 3-4 years. It's they make money, they'll make money. Yeah, as long as they have the waifus, the characters people like, the series or IP that people like, it's an easy way to drag people in.
Well, I think you know, you saw the Twitch numbers and the overwhelming success Genshin had. I think if they were, you can still have the gacha, but frankly, you could quadruple the rates and people would still be upset, right? And you saw the wild success they had, and it's not just from all the Nolars, it's from all the people that spent 15, 30, maybe 50 to 100.
No, it's mostly the Nolars.
It's I guess, but
Like
no, it's definitely the Nolars.
well, no. For the lion's share, sure. But I'm saying for like the every one of us that's in chat right now that's playing the game, commenting, flooding the forums, talking about everything. We've spent a small amount, so we're not really going to pull these units. They could be a little bit more merciful to us, but I don't know. I think they're going to bleed a lot of players due to the fact that they're going to pick it up on their PS4, PS5, whatever here in a minute, try it out, not pull who they want, and then see that we're AR-50 or whatever, and then just completely stop playing. I can see in a game where Genshin it could be really toxic.
Yeah, I just think as you mentioned, the resounding success it had at the start for sure. But people went in obviously expecting something different for that, but then they realized, oh, wait a second, no, this is the world of gachas or something, basically. So yeah.
Well, unless you guys have any other comments, that's going to conclude our...
Dimani was in the middle of a thought. We cut him off earlier. What were you saying, Dimani?
I forgot.
Oh, rip. Rip the dream.
Could have been too important.
Well, we don't have anything else to add. Gale, Hydros, Juz, Nas, anything?
No, apparently Goresh is live on YouTube playing the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot expansion. Not the card game, the actual DLC came out.
Yeah, the Resurrection F storyline. Yeah.
Too bad we can't raid from Twitch into YouTube.
I mean, we could just post the link in chat and just spam it there. The
like
5-9
an old school raid?
Nas will probably have to do that.
I actually can raid someone on Twitch. I'm just gonna raid into one of my friends.
Yeah, if you want, go for it.
Well, everybody that came out today, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be live again, hopefully an hour earlier next week.
Yep.
Super Piggy, we can't raid Gresh because he's live on YouTube. And also, be sure to check out all the contributors' links on social media. For sure, check out DeMonty, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out Juzex, Gale, Professor Sensei on Twitch and Twitter, and myself, 5-9 Gaming. Of course, hopefully y'all follow us. With that being said, we will definitely be back next week for more, and hopefully we can keep y'all entertained. This podcast will be going up live on YouTube within about 24 hours. As well, for anyone in the chat who cares, we will be doing the live reaction to the Dragon Ball Legends video and stuff tomorrow morning. That will be occurring on YouTube. Just doing a little bit of a reward for some of our YouTube subscribers while we still can before we inevitably hopefully go Twitch partner. And I think that's about all the news.
I think we're also going to be doing a live reaction. For those of you who care about the Dokkan side, I think we are going to be doing a live reaction to the Dokkan now on Twitch as well. I think. Or we're going to be recording one for YouTube. It's one or the other. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Yeah, the Dokkan Now is tonight, and the Legends is tomorrow morning. So Twitch for Dokkan Now. So keep your notifications ready to go if you want to join back in for that. And of course, we'll have plenty of upcoming content for you. So hopefully you follow us on every available platform. Join the public Discord so that we can stay in touch with y'all. Anyone else want to say anything? Just say goodbye if not.
Looking forward to next week, guys.
Hopefully you guys have a good evening. And yeah, hopefully we'll have something for next week as well. Probably we should have done the event by then. I think the event would have started and everything. So we'll have that as well.
See you guys next time and have a good rest of your day.
Later.
All right, we're raiding into my friend Shelby. Just scream that Asterachi and 5-9 Gaming sent you, and just talk a bunch of crap, y'all. It would help me out greatly. So thank y'all. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.